Hey guys, how's it going? Just going to do a video on upgrading the toolbox on Max. When I did that video for all the tools and spares and bits and pieces that I take along on motorcycle trips, it got me inspired to finally upgrade the toolbox on this. So I've gone to Bunnings and bought some bits and pieces, really cheap, same as what I did for on Charlie, and hopefully we can get the same setup on here. Alright, we better get him into the man cave. Alright, so now I'll bring you over here and I'll show you the bits and pieces that I'm going to use to make the toolbox. Alright guys, so to make this toolbox, it's really simple, easy to do. The bits and pieces that you buy is really cheap, like $13.90, and that gets me all these bits and pieces and all those. It doesn't include this because this is an offcut from when I did Charlie's toolbox. Now, I'm going to try and do this video as a bit of a tutorial because I already know what I'm doing, but I'm not exactly 100% sure that this size piping is going to fit in the same spot. So that part, hopefully that's going to come through as we go along. Obviously you need a bit of that blue gunky stuff that for sticking all this stuff together. Now, so this pipe, it's PVC pipe, drain piping, whatever. You just get all the hardware joints have it. It's 90 millimeters in diameter. So I'll try and get that up there so you can see it. So that's your 90 millimeters, and for those that use inches, you can see the inches there. Cool. So obviously we're going to need to cut it down to whatever size we need, which we'll just use a hacksaw to do that. We need an end cap. So basically that is just a cap. It doesn't screw on, it's just going to close up one end of the pipe. So that'll go over there, it'll be glued on, and once that's glued on, that's it, it's there forever. So obviously that suits a 90 millimeter end. Then we need to get one of these. So that's you can see that's got the thread on it. And what that does on the other end, that will go over there, which means that obviously the pipe now has a thread. And then obviously a threading cap like that, which will just screw on there, and that will then close up the toolbox. It's not going to be this long because that would look bloody silly hanging out the back of it. And then I just got these. There's a whole heap of different types of ones that you can get. So what that's going to do, I'm going to bend, actually I'll show you that. They're going to bend together, and they're quite long. So I think on the DR it's going to be smaller up one end and then longer up the other end. So I should be able to play with that. And yeah, there'll be 3 mounting points, 2 of the original spots, and I believe there's a spot there that I'll be able to utilise as well. I reckon doing that should it should stay on there. It shouldn't interfere with anything. I've got to make sure that when it's going to compress down, that it's not going to get in the way of anything as well. But we're all going to find out whether it works or not. Oh, I nearly forgot. Something that I didn't do on Charlie's toolbox was a way of locking that cap down so that when you're riding along it doesn't start to jiggle off, and then of course, whoop, there goes your cap, and whoop, there goes all your tools. That's not a good thing to have happen. So like I said, it never happened on Charlie. Now whether that's just the design of the bike or I don't know, whatever, but a lot of people that have done this, because obviously this isn't my design, this has been done for many years on all different types of bikes. I'm just stealing the idea and I'm bloody running with it. So what I'm going to do, or what I've thought to do, is actually and using, where is it, come on, here it is. Using that epoxy stuff that I spoke about in the tools and spares and all that kind of stuff, so you'll actually get to see that, how that works. I don't know, it's not hard, but anyway. But what I want to do is build, stick something on here and then stick something on here. Now whether it's a nut or I put a screw in there, I don't really want to put a screw in there and then have that screw popping through, because that's just going to get in the way of and catch on bits and pieces. But work out a way of doing it, and using that epoxy, it's that bloody strong. So if I have that, and then I can either use a piece of wire or a bloody elastic band or anything that can easily just tie through there, and that'll stop that from going too far around and then wiggling off. But anyway, alright, let's go. Alright guys, so the first job was to find out whether this pipe, or this pipe here, is going to fit in that area where this other little box is. Now, I've put it in there, and it seems like it's going to fit, but I've also got a bit of play here that I can, this is just a plastic cover, so that's got plenty of movement in it to push it out, and then also on that side a little bit as well. My biggest concern is the wheel, which I'll move this out and we'll have a look. Try and not knock you out with my pole. So that's going to be way up there. Now if I just come straight down, I'm not hitting that back wheel. So, and even from looking at it, I reckon I've most probably got about that much off that wheel. But as always, it's not until you're bloody 3/4 of the way through or you're fully finished it and then you go, ah, shit, it's not going to bloody work. But anyway, so I'll just rip off some of this stuff and then we'll get stuck into it. Okay, so I've taken the cover off, the plastic cover, just with the one screw, which shows the whole toolbox as it is, the existing one with the 2 bolts. So I just got to undo these bolts. Wow, they're loose. They're not on there tight at all. It's funny how many bolts that I find that aren't really tight. They're obviously not meant to be tight, they just never... Oh, I can't get that one out. They obviously just don't need to be tight on there. Oh, there we go. Cool, so that's the little toolbox off. So now we'll get that pipe and have a look at that. Oh, and remember, the 2 bolts that came out from that original one, we want to keep those bolts because on the frame, where that bolts onto on the frame is actually threaded. So you might as well use these instead of putting through other stuff, so keep them. Alright, so get me pipe, I'll put this on there because that will play a bit of a thing in it. Slide this thing through, so obviously that's as far as it's going to go. And then we've got, oh yeah, that's hitting there. Alright, so what have we got? That's what it was. So I can either, as you can see here, that's hitting on this. I'm never going to take these off, they're always going to be on there. I can either cut it here and then this will be able to move up and be more in line that way with the bike, or I can utilise more space and have it cut maybe somewhere up here. I'm going to have a think about that one. Alright guys, so I've been bloody playing around with this pipe, just trying to work out whether I want it to be longer or shorter, or to hide it or to angle it. I'm just going to give you a quick run around just so you can see all the angles, and then I'll tell you what's going on in my brain. Okay, so here it is. It's tucked in behind. I've put the cover back on. So the cover's going to go in there and not be a problem, be able to do it up. It sits hard against here, which is fine. Plenty of room to move. And then we've got, it comes out through here, but as you can see, because of this pannier rack, it can only go so far up, and it hits there. So that's what it looks like directly on the side. Now I'm obviously not going to have it sticking out that far, I've just got to work out where I'm going to cut it. I'll just show you from behind. So if I get down low, so it kind of like is running level with that pipe, which so from behind it mightn't look too bad. Because that's the other thing, I mean, you don't want something looking bloody crazy either. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, do I want to have it cut up here so it's shorter, and then this whole pipe can move up, it'll be all tucked away, and you basically won't see it except for when you're around here and you want to get into stuff. But by doing that, I'm gonna have a lot less room in there, and the whole idea of doing this is to be able to, you know, stick quite a lot of stuff in there. Obviously cutting it there, I'm still going to have a whole lot more room than what I would have had if I just had the stock standard one. But here I am, I'm doing all this, so I'm thinking I should go with the longer cut. If I reckon I cut it up here, basically in line with the exhaust pipe on the other side. So it's going to come out here. As I said, I'm never going to remove that. And I think even that line, obviously I'm going to paint this black. I didn't think for a second any of you guys thought I was going to leave this white. But yeah, I'm going to paint it black. So that's going to blend it into the bike as well. I think that's what I'm going to go with. So as you can see, that's the cut mark. And I don't know, you might be able to see through there. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Alright guys, that's it. That's the cut mark. We're committing to it. As in life, every now and then you've got to say, what the fuck? Let's just do it. Okay, so I've cut the pipe using a hacksaw, and a very shitty hacksaw at that. That's what I've got. So I'm going to go and just try that and see how it works. Well, I just tried to put that cover over there, but because I've done such a shit job on that, luckily I cut it giving myself more. That's the cut mark there. So if you rush something and you have shit tools, normally that's what happens. But anyway, I'm going to try and do it on the drop saw. Hopefully it works okay. I don't know whether this is going to shatter or whatever, but it should be alright. Much better. Alright guys, so that's the only cutting you need to do. Get my cap, I'll use that on the factory cut side because it's beautifully and straight. And then this one will go on the other side, which was my dodgy cut but fixed up. That's going to go on there. So all I'm going to do is put the glue on for these two sides, and we'll be bloody nearly there. Okay, so we get our gooey bloody blue stuff. Put all that all the way around. Obviously you clean your pipe. Make sure it's all clean. And they say to put this stuff on both pieces that need to be joined. So that's done. Whack that on there. Basically leave that for I think 30 seconds and then 5 seconds without disturbing it. But I'm going to cheat. I should actually clean that up, shouldn't I? Because I'm going to paint this, I want that to be a bit clean. Alright, that should be it. Now we'll do the other side. So this has to have it on the inside there and on the outside here. I'll just double check that. Yep. There you have it. Give that one a clean up. Alright, so basically that's it. They say 30 seconds, don't disturb it or anything, and then a further 5 minutes, don't play with it. And then they say 24 hours after that is when you can start using it. Now they're obviously talking about putting it in the ground and running water through it and all that kind of stuff, so I'm just going to go and have a cup of coffee, and that should be pretty much set enough, and then we'll start looking at mounting it on the bike. Alright guys, so I've had my cup of coffee, and that's pretty much now I can muck around with that. That won't be a problem. So then my next thing is these little brackets that I'm going to use to attach them to the bike, these particular ones flange out like that. So what first thing I've got to do is straighten those up so that when they come together they're going to be like that. Now obviously the paint bits of shit crack off, but that's not a problem. So I've done that to all of them. So now I'm going to put it on the bike and then we'll work out where I've got to cut those and re-drill the holes and stuff. Alright, so I'll grab our pipe. That's where it's going to go through there like that and basically sit exactly like that. So I'll just put these over. Now I've already done this first one. Had a bit of a play with it. That goes there. When that meets up, it's going to come down. So what I've done is I've decided, alright, let's just cut this out of the way for now. And I've marked this as number 1. I've got myself a number 2. So I cut these down. They're a bit of a mongrel to work around with. Right, same with number 2. It's cut a little bit higher. You know, and as I put these, cut them down and get them on, and then drill the holes, I can always cut them down a little bit further if I need to. And then I've got number 3. I haven't 100% worked out where I'm going to put number 3. I've got lots of different options, but I'll get these 2 on first, and then we'll go with that one. All right, so I've, as I said, I've just grinded those off there. So that's what they looked like, and now that's what that looks like. Now what I've got to do, so that's number 2, I've got number 1 sitting up here. I need a little marker pen. So what we've got to do, try and get you guys as close as I can. But basically that's what I've got to put a bolt through. Get that over, so that's going to be like that, but see I can have it down further, which gives me a bit more down like that. It's just a matter of wingle-wangling it, working out where I'm going to need it. I'm going to have that, I don't want that exactly touching on there. If I do that, I would think drilling a hole, geez, if I could keep it steady about there, should do the trick. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, so holes are drilled. I wasn't going to bore you with showing you just drilling bloody holes. You know how to drill holes. Okay, let's see if we can get it on. Oh, where are you? Okay, hang on. Oh, this is really hard trying to get you guys close and me get in there and try and do this as well. But anyway. Oh, try to put yours over here. Alright. I'll get myself some leverage. Put that on there. Okay. That's got it. Beautiful. Alright. Well, there you go. That was pretty... it was a bit ickly, but yeah, I mean that's fucking, that's on there. So I'll put another one on there. You most probably don't need the second one on here, but I'm going to do it anyway. I think the more points that you got on it, the less likely in 5 years' time that it's going to bust. It'll just, the more points, the less stress on each individual spot. So I'll put another one on there, and then I'll work out where I'm going to put this other one on. And then it's just a matter of paying it up and doing that little tricky latch thing for there. Alright guys, got a bit sidetracked with other stuff. But I've now, I'll show you, I've now got... So these 2 are now firmly on, that's on there solid. That's not going anywhere. So I'm up to number 3. What I've done is put that, I've basically straightened up those. Just put it in the vise and straighten it all up. So now that's going to go over here. I'll show you what I've done. Basically straightened it all out and I went, okay, what hole's going to best suit this? That hole there, I've got the mud guard in the way of it, so I thought, oh, it's a bit bloody no good, which would have been the perfect spot. But I've gone for this one, and all I've done is, when I drilled the holes a little bit longer. So now, just got a high tensile bolt. This is just one that I had laying around in the shed. And now, oh bloody hell, I tell you, it is so hard. You're always getting in me bloody way. Alright, now can you see what I'm doing? Hang on, here we go. Oh, that just goes straight in there like that. I always like to use spring washers, because it doesn't matter how much vibrating happens, they never bloody come off. Goes on the back and a nut. Screw that up. I won't do it all the way up because I've got to take it all off. But basically, no, I'm going to do it all the way up just so I can see. Alright, that'll do. There you go. That is on there. Bloody, that's a solid. It's not going. That's not going anywhere. All right. Now make sure that we can put our cap still on. So that's just hitting on there, but I reckon with a bit of gentle persuasion and push that out a bit. There you go. And that's it. So there you go, that's the finished, well, it's not the finished product, that's the finished base product. So now, all I've got to do is paint it up and then do that little latch thing on there. So yeah, that's not too bad looking actually. And the other thing is that this where is it? There you go, that'll just screw straight in there. So that's all, that hasn't interfered with anything basically. Well, as you can obviously see out there, it's getting a bit dark. It's been raining. It's only softly raining, but it's getting to that time where I've got to go and have some tea. So I'm going to have some tea, then I'll come back out and we'll get this little latch thing organised. And then basically tomorrow we'll just get it all painted up and it should be a done deal. Alright, so I've now figured out how I'm going to do the little latch thing. And it's just simply, I'm going to have just a ordinary everyday bolt. This cap actually has, if you can see those little grooves, obviously if you're a plumber or something, maybe they have a special tool for doing it up or undoing it. Well, this nut is going to slot in one of those, just like that, if you can see that. So that'll give that a bit more strength, and I'm going to use the epoxy, and I'll epoxy that nut right there. And then what will happen is, when that's screwed on there, all I've got to do is have a band, loop it through that, and maybe loop it onto the helmet lock thing, which I never use, or I could wrap it around that thing there, and that will just stop that cap from jiggling and winding itself off. So we'll do that epoxy right now. Oh bloody hell guys, I don't know whether this thing was recording or not, but I just realised I don't think I had it recording. So I'm using this epoxy stuff. I've pushed that in there so it was white and the dark colour came out. I'm now mixing those together just until that forms one colour. I think this sets in about 4 minutes, so kind of like got to have yourself all set up ready and raring to go. I reckon that looks pretty good. Alright. Basically, let's put this there and get this nut Do it so that I'm not in your way. That's on there. I'm going to make sure that I leave a hole there. Well, there you go. As per usual, it's not pretty, but once that sets, that'll be just on there solid as. Well, it's the next day, and I went down to Bunnings to the hardware store, picked up a couple of cans of paint. I've now put just 2 light coatings of undercoat on all the bits and pieces. I'll just give you a quick look at this one. So that's the cap, and that's the one that I put the bolt with the using the epoxy. I tested that this morning, and it's just absolutely rock solid. Gee, I'll tell you what, it's bloody, since yesterday it's been raining. It's been raining all day today. It's just really good rain though. And as you can see, the backyard is now starting to green back up again. All this is going to end up being all lush green grass again. So when I do the painting, I basically just wipe everything down. I don't do anything fancy, and then just spray. It's what I did with Charlie, and yeah, the paint's held up. You know, it's not wearing off or fading off or anything like that. This is the paint that I've got. This time I've gone with Dual Lux instead of the real cheapy stuff. So you've got your undercoat, and then I've gone with the gloss black. And then that there is the tube that's been undercoated. So there's nothing more I can do now. For you guys, you're seeing this really quick. For me, I've got to wait around until tomorrow before I can start putting the black on. I'll most probably put 2 coats of black on it. And that should be it. When I went to Bunnings, I made sure I got the individual prices for everything. So at the end of this video, I'll put a list of everything and how much it all cost and all that kind of stuff. But I think the paint's going to be most probably, I think they're like $10 each or something like that. That'll most probably be the most expensive part of it. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Hey guys, well it's the next day again, and I'm now ready to put on the black spray paint. So I'll just give you a quick geezer at putting black spray paint on, because that's so exciting. There you go, look at that. Did you see the technique in that? Alright, I'll show you this other thing. And there you go, that's it. Now I won't come back to you until it's all finished and done, but not put on the bike, I think. I don't know, we'll see. Alright guys, this is, I don't know, 2 days bloody later. I'll put the final second coat onto the toolbox. Now you might also notice that a second ago I was a lot more hairier, and now I'm not. I've had a haircut and a shave. Alright, so here's the finished paint job on the toolbox. It's come up pretty good, you know, considering that I didn't do any sanding, and we actually did a test on how much water it would hold. So we did the calculations. Actually, Matt did the calculations, and he worked out that it would be 3 litres that it could hold. So then we got the water, and we actually tested that theory, and it equaled the same. But in the process of putting water into it and handling the bloody thing while the paint was still wet underneath, we've put fingerprints in it. But anyway, it's a toolbox going on a DR650. It can't be pretty. There's the cap. So you can see that with the little, I keep saying a bolt, it's a nut. Like me, a nut. And then all these doodads. So they're all painted up. They're not fully dry, but we're going to chuck it on the bloody bike now. I don't care. I've got touch-up paint if I need to. I've already knocked a little piece where I stuck it in, knocked the bloody paint off. But you give it about a week, and that'll be set hard, and then it's sweet. So what I've done, as I said, I was going to list everything that it cost to do that. Unfortunately, I've got the bloody sun coming out every now and then, and it's put in the shade. I've had to build up this thing just to block it all out, so hopefully you can see all this. So there it is. That's the toolbox. So you've got PVC stormwater pipe, standard stuff you get from the hardware joint. You can buy it from Bunnings. I could buy it in a 1 metre length by the 90mm diameter, and it was $6.24 for that piece there. I've cut it down to 44 centimetres. So basically from there, because that pipe goes into the end, from there, and I think it's about to there is that piece, and that's the 44 centimetres. So just the end cap, which is that, it's just a cap, pushes on, $1.32. The threaded socket reducer is what they call it, which is from 100, so that goes over the 90mm pipe here and then brings it back to 90mm there with the thread. So that was $4.64. And then just a threaded cap, which is 90mm, was $2.12. I've put the nut, that was free. I mean, everybody's got some type of bloody nuts in their toolbox somewhere. So yeah, that didn't cost anything. Obviously for me, this pipe didn't cost me anything because I already had it, but I'm doing this so that if someone wanted to bloody do the same thing or something similar or whatever. The saddle clips slash brackets, for 3 of those, they came in a pack of 3, they were $9.30. And then I've included the 2 cans of paint, so that's the undercoat, Dulux undercoat, and then the Dulux black enamel, high gloss. So for those two it was $22.78. Now in these I've only used half, so I could do another tool thing with those. Or if you had other paint, you just use that paint. The PVC pipe cement, so that's the stuff that we use to glue the pipes together. It's a 1.25 millimeter, 1.25 mil bottle of glue, and that's $3.90. And I've used this heaps. I've had this for lots of other bits and pieces, obviously in the other toolbox. And then the epoxy, which everything so far I've got from Bunnings hardware, and any hardware place you'll be able to get it. This particular one you can get from Bunnings, I believe, but I actually got this from Super Cheap Auto. So that's the Perma Epoxy multi-metal epoxy 4-minute, which is what I carry in the toolbox. That costs $11.99. So you can use a bit of that to put that nut on and then stick it in your toolbox if you don't already have it. Now this worked for me because this is multi-metal, so it's basically for joining metal together or fixing metal. You can get a general purpose one which will do everything, including hard plastics and glass and fiberglass and all that kind of stuff. But this worked in what I did anyway, so there you go. Alright, what else have we got? I think that's it. That's it. So the total price for doing that was $62.29. And that's given me a 3-litre toolbox, all prettied up with bloody black paint and all that kind of stuff. And the way I see that, I mean, that's pretty, I suppose, expensive. If you were to take off the paint, I mean, it brings it back to bloody 40 bucks. But 62 bucks, and that's given me a few days bloody entertainment mucking around. It's given me a video to put out to you guys. And it's given me a functional bloody toolbox to work on Macs. There you go. Alright, I'm now just going to go and quickly whack this on. I won't show you me bloody putting it on, that's just wasting time. And show you the end final product. Alright guys, so a lot of swearing, a lot of bloody fist shaking. I got the bloody stupid thing on there. Because everything is still sticky and everything's now got a painted bloody coat on there, it was a little bit bloody tricky getting everything to bloody sit. I've actually got this one on a little bit of an angle, but I'm going to wait till it fully bloody cures before I straighten that up, which is I've got it a bit too close to that side. But anyway, look, it's on there, it's bloody, that's rock solid, ain't going to come off. I'll just give you a quick run around of it, so you can have a bit of a look at it. So as you can see, it's bloody shiny black. I'm kind of like wondering whether I should have went with a satin or my normal thing that I like is the flat black, but it's only because the rest of the bike's all dusty and dirty, and that's just, you know, shiny as that it's standing out a bit. So I think once it gets dirty or I wash the bike, it should be pretty bloody good. The latch thing, I won't worry about showing that at the moment because everything's still sticky and icky. I've got another little thing. I've ordered a tool kit, which is a roll-up one that's nearly fills this whole thing. So I'm going to do a little video on that. But yeah, so there you go. That's it, guys. All right, keep on riding. Just tricking. Stay tuned for the next DIY trick.